in education from the Christ University, Bangalore. He has qualified UGC NET. His area of specialization are educational technology, educational psychology, research methodology, teachers education and pedagogy of chemistry. He has been awarded as the best teachers from BTL Educational Trust. Great, sir. And Bangalore, and also the Academic Excellence Award from the Friendship Firm of India, New Delhi. He has been the chairman and the member of Board of Studies from Bachelor of Education offered by the Horizon College of International Sri Lanka. He has published the various articles in the national and international journals and books. Also authored the book titled called as Teachers Training Achievement and Attributes Towards the ICT, published in German. He has been regularly presenting a paper in national, international seminar conferences. He has also chaired a few technical sessions, different national and international level seminar and conferences. He has organized a national seminar, 2 state level of workshop, 1 refresh program. Resource person of he was a resource person for a various programs. Also completed a major research project. His area of specialization are educational technology, educational psychology, research methodology, teachers education and pedagogy of chemistry. So, sir, on behalf of our association, I would like to welcome to the SR Smith Victor, sir. Thank you for taking the time for us for today's session. Over to you, Vikas, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, we'll not waste time. We'll just start.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sure, sir. Yes.
Yes. I think sir will we start, no problem.
Any other thing, madam? Anything
Sir,
else?
there are just so many things that we would have add on into this, but time is not permitting us to add on.
Madam. Introduction and all is fine. We will just start the session.
Yes,
because
so we are eagerly waiting to listen to you.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you very much.
After the session, we will be fulfill all kinds of the formalities.
Yes. Thank you, Vikas, sir.
Yes.
Sir, Vikas, sir, आपने अच्छा किया that you brought the Victor sir to over here so that we can get ample number of the information.
नहीं मैं ज्यादा नहीं बोल सकता हूँ ना, but this is your right, but I have a limited right in front of the Victor.
He is my teacher, so
because he is my
okay. Yes, sir.
Right.
Okay, sir.
teacher.
No,
Yes, sir.
Just
Okay.
as I was speaking to Vikas was telling that actually he had given a different topic for me, and he was requesting me to start from where I stopped with the SPSS. So I'll be starting from that particular place where I stopped yesterday. That means in the previous class. Last class, what we did was we were speaking about SPSS. That means data view and variable view and feeding of data. And before I go further, any one of you have doubt related to that? If you have doubt, I'll clarify. If not, we'll start again. किसी को doubt है last session का? Okay.
No, sir.
Okay, Ivan Kumar is ready.
No, sir.
Others, if you have any doubt. If you don't have doubt, then it's an indication that you have learned something, then I'll go ahead further. Right? Please speak out.
Yes, sir, sure. Students, anybody having any kind of the doubt, kindly please let us know. Window is open to the everyone so that sir can proceed further.
Okay, then if you don't have a doubt, I want you to guide me so that I can go for data feeding now.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have two things here. I have an Excel sheet as well as SPSS sheet. Okay. So this is a blank SPSS package, SPSS this thing, and this is something which I have a data here. Right. Now I have to. First thing is I want to add title in my SPSS in the variable view. How can I add? Can someone guide me? I have a list of variables here, like school, stage, gender, teaching experience, age, subject, thought, experiential learning, all that things are here. So how can I add this?
You can directly import that Excel sheet into the
Okay, can
SPSS.
someone guide me about this? How to import?
File.
Can someone guide me? Yes, please.
Actually, there is a lot of disturbance from my end. Yeah, from there we
Okay.
can select the file or whatever file we want to insert into the SPSS.
Okay. Then you select how to select that. Can you guide me? Please, you're right, but I want you to guide. I can go to spaces. Then.
Go to SPSS there,
Hmm.
file, yeah,
Okay.
open, data.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh, there we can enter the, yeah, we have to select from the desktop or wherever we have saved it,
Okay.
the file name.
Okay.
Yeah, retrieve.
Then
Yeah, it will come into the database.
just try. This is the procedure. In the last class, what we had actually thought was what actually we had thought was we had taught you about the manual feeding, right? Now, madam has taught us about how to feed the data directly from Excel. Okay, so this is an important learning for all of us. Directly, what we did was, now observe very carefully, from the Excel sheet we directly copied or imported the data to our spaces. Okay, when we feed this, automatically all our data gets entered here. Getting an idea? This is one more way of extracting the data directly from Excel to SPSS. What is the procedure? We have to go to File. First, save the document in an Excel sheet. Then open the file. Go to Data. Okay. See where exactly you have kept the data. And after that, what you do is you have to change the file type here at the bottom. What I did, I selected Excel. Okay, and I selected the exact file which I have and then clicked open.
सर जब आप
सर
फंक्शन
जब
Clear?
आप फंक्शनिंग कर रहे थे तो स्क्रीन आपकी विजुअल नहीं हो रही थी सर।
एक बार
So
प्लीज
एक
अभी
बार
अभी
प्लीज।
हो रहा है?
हाँ अभी हो रहा है
हाँ
सर
अभी हो रहा है सर।
Okay, let me open then. Let me open a new file and I'll show you. अभी दिख रहा है सबको? I'll close this.
Yes, sir.
I'll go very slow. I'll open. One second, I'll close this. Right. This is a blank spaces sheet which I've opened. Hope the screen is visible now.
Yes, sir.
यस सर।
My data is empty. You can see my data is empty and my variable view is also empty. So I have a data which is already saved in my system. So what I'll do, I'll go for file, okay, then open, file, open, and then data. Then I have a data in my desktop. So I've selected desktop. What I'll do, I have a file type, select this file type and change it to Excel. Okay. Then select the file which you have. I'm just selecting the file which I have and then click OK. This is a data which I've got it from. This is a data which I've collected online, and then I've placed it there. So directly it gets added here. Okay. Now, You can see the variable view. You can get the variables here. This is very easy for us. It gets automatically feeded. This is the second option, second way of feeding. I taught you initially the first way. This is the second way. Now, what is the difference you observe from that to this? Can you see here? In that, we were only playing with numbers, but in this, what's happening? We have all the descriptions, the letters. Can you see here? In the previous class, we had coded as male as 1 and female as 2. But here in this, we have directly taken as a string variable. You're getting an idea? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, when we are doing analysis, we don't require time. That is the time of data collection. This is the email address, the name of the teacher. I don't require. So I can directly delete this. Okay. I'm just keeping whatever the variables I want. Yes. Now, this is the way you have to feed the data. The next thing is, I had taught you that first thing what you have to do is you have to go for analyze and then go for descriptive statistics, then see frequencies, because you have to see whether the data what I've entered is perfectly right or not. For that thing, I wanted to, it will come like this: analyze, descriptive statistics, frequencies. You select everything, all the variables, go for statistics. You see whatever the statistics you want mean, median, so that it will be easy for us to understand. Standard deviation, minimum and maximum is required. Range you can keep, and then continue. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Which shows valid and missing. What is the number of sample what we have here?
351.
Very good. 351 is the sample. Okay.
351.
Now what we have to do, what we have to observe as a statistician is there is something called as missing here. Can you see a missing word here in this table?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
what
sir.
I want you to do is you check whether any missing values are there here. Stage 0 is missing, gender 0 is missing, teaching experience 0 is missing. You just check whether anywhere you find any number, it should always be 0. That indicates that your data will be perfect. The total number of valid sample or the total sample size should be 351 in everything. Okay. So you check this, that shows very clearly that your data is fed properly. You are not having any missing variables. Now let's take an example. I will delete two of this, maybe around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I will go check in descriptive statistics again, frequencies. I will select only gender. Okay, and see what is the values what I'm going to get. One second. Analyze, descriptive statistics, frequencies. Such a gender what I've selected. I'll see what is the missing values here. Can you see here the total number of values which I've seen is valid is 5. 1 second, there should be a missing variable. I'll just find out again. Since I've actually feed it, it should not be there. I'm going to go for the same table again. I've already feed it. Sometimes what happens when I delete this, okay, there are chances of appearing there. Since it was already feeded, then I'm deleting it. It would have been a problem. If I copy directly from Excel and then see delete that, we'll come to know that there are some missing variables. So make sure that these missing variables are not there. Okay, right. This is the first thing what you do when you go for data feeding. Next thing, what you need to do is, I will just open my presentation. One second. And then we'll learn bit of statistics. Then we'll go for the other things. Right. Now, in the last class, we have learned about the nominal, ordinal, and data types, what we have. Okay. Now, this is about descriptive statistics. We will not go detail about descriptive statistics. In descriptive statistics, we have distribution, measures of variability like mean, median, mode, measures of central tendencies, range, standard deviation, variance, okay, quartile deviations, and all the other things. Right. When it comes to the next part, we have something called as inferential statistics. Percentage, all these things comes under different descriptive statistics. Next, we have something called as inferential statistics. Can someone tell me when do we use inferential statistics, or what is the difference between a differential statistics, descriptive statistics, and inferential statistics? कोई बोल सकता है what is the difference between descriptive and inferential statistics?
सर जब हमारे पास जो जो डाटा होता है, जब हम उसके बारे में डिस्क्राइब करते हैं कि उसकी क्या विशेषताएं हैं, तो उसको हम बोलते हैं डिस्क्रिप्टिव स्टैटिस्टिक्स का पार्ट है वो. और अगर हम उस डेटा से कुछ आगे इन्फेरेंसेस निकालना चाहते हैं तो उसको इन्फेरेंशियल स्टैटिस्टिक्स बोलते हैं.
वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड. नाउ लेट्स टेक एन एग्जांपल. अभी हम लोगों के पास एक मेडिकल रिपोर्ट आता है. मेडिकल रिपोर्ट्स में ब्लड एग्जामिनेशन के लिए जाते हैं हम लोग, ठीक है. देन दे विल गिव सम रिपोर्ट्स. वो रिपोर्ट्स देने के बाद, ठीक है. नाउ लेट्स टेक एन एग्जांपल. आई विल जस्ट शो यू अ मेडिकल रिपोर्ट. Okay, and let's see कि what are the values. हम खुद अगर बस values देखेंगे. Now let's take an example. I'm just giving you an example that now RBC count. If RBC count is 4.70 m by UI, अगर ये वैल्यू बस दिखा रहा है, then what happens? It says it is only descriptive. अगर हम लोग उसको inferential करने हैं, if you want to infer something else, what does it mean? What does it mean? Then we have to go for something which you have to compare. For example, उसका normal range का वैल्यू कितना है? आरबीसी का नॉर्मल रेंज कितना होता है? आरबीसी का नॉर्मल रेंज होता है ऑन एन एवरेज इट इज 4 to 6.2. ओके. अगर इन्फरेंशियल स्टैटिस्टिक्स और डिस्क्रिप्टिव स्टैटिस्टिक्स में यही डिफरेंस होता है. इन्फरेंशियल स्टैटिस्टिक्स में वी ट्राई टू कंपेयर द वैल्यूज विद समथिंग एल्स एंड देन यू गिव द इंटरप्रिटेशंस. ओके. जो भी इंटरप्रिटेशंस हम लोग दे सकते हैं उसको क्या बोलते हैं? इन्फरेंशियल स्टैटिस्टिक्स. There are two basic levels what we have. One is difference based, the other one is relation based. Now let's take an example. What is the difference? What is difference based test? इसमें क्या होता है? When you want to find out a difference of a variable between two different groups or more than two groups, then why we can call it as difference based. Then we use something called as difference based test. Relationship based में क्या होता है? we try to establish a relationship between one variable with the other variables. Then it goes for relation based. Now let's give an example. Okay. Um, Now let's take an example. Cooking. Cooking skills of male is better when compared to female. कौन better है cooking में? Whether it's male or female. Who is
It
better in
depends.
cooking? Whether
Female.
women. Okay.
Yes.
Right. On what basis you are
It
telling, madam?
depends, sir. कौन कितना time दे रहा है?
Depends कौन कितना time दे रहा है.
Obviously, cooking is meant for women, so that's the reason I would only say women would be doing this. But again, it depends from person to
Okay.
person.
Cooking.
But nowadays, most rather than women, most men are doing it.
मैं भी अच्छा बना
Madam,
लेता हूँ सर.
Experience and expertise.
Madam, you go to hotel and you find only males are cooking there.
There are the male only, sir. Correct.
Right.
Yes.
But please make a note, as a researcher, I cannot come to a conclusion just by 2-3 samples what you have observed. Mother is always better cook when compared to
Yes,
others. Right? So as a researcher, I cannot tell orally saying that they are better, she is better, he is better. For that, I have to go for analysis. That's why this statistics is required here. Okay, it plays a significant role. Now, when it comes to this, what we are going to do, we go for something called as difference-based test. Cooking skills ka, what we do, we take up a score, we take up a data. And what we do, we have to analyze. What we have to do, we have to find out the difference between two things. For that, we frame an hypothesis. मैं एक काम करता हूँ. I'll just teach you how to frame an hypothesis. One is, you are going to guide me. I'm going to just type cooking skills. Cooking skill is a variable. The other one is male is a variable and female is a variable. Now, please help me out to frame an hypothesis for this.
Male cook better than women.
Male and female. Okay, male and female. You are telling male cook better than female. All of you agree with this? Anyone, any hypothesis? You can just give me an hypothesis. Anything. Frame the hypothesis. What type of hypothesis is this? Male cook better than female.
Sir, alternate hypothesis.
It is directional hypothesis, sir.
Very good. It's a directional hypothesis. Okay. Can you frame me a null hypothesis for this?
Yes, sir. There is no difference in cooking ability between male and female.
Yes. There is no. Let's modify a bit. Okay. With this, you are saying there is no significant. We will use the term because I'm a statistician. I speak with statistical terms. That's why I'm writing. There is no significant difference in cooking skills of male and female. Right? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
you
sir.
have to check this. There is no significant difference in the cooking skills of male and female. Now this is a null hypothesis. We are going to go for this testing. Now, test करने के लिए we have to use a statistical test. Now, listen here. There is one major variable here, and there are two different groups. Group 1 and group 2. Okay, one major variable is there, and there are two different groups here. Sample what we have collected here is from two different groups. Kiska sample? Cooking skill ka sample. Okay. Now, when this kinds of data is there, what type of statistics we are going to use? What type of difference-based statistics we are going to use? Anyone,
Sir,
please?
mean difference. Mean difference.
We have to check the mean difference. Okay. Mean difference we have to check. So, which test helps to identify the mean difference?
Sir,
The
T
T
test.
test.
Very good. How many types of t-tests are there? No. How many
Independent and dependent. Independent sample test
of
and dependent.
t-test? Independent. Okay.
And dependent sample test.
Sir, one sample T test. One sample T test.
Paired sample T test.
Right. We will just observe that.
Matched
We have-
pair T test.
Right. We will just observe here. We have three different types of samples of t-test here. Independent sample t-test, paired sample t-test, one sample t-test. है ना? Now, for this hypothesis, what we have framed, what type of t-test we are going to use? What type of
Sir,
t-test we are going to use?
independent sample T test.
Independent.
Paired sample test.
Now, can you tell me why we are going to use paired sample or why we are going to use independent sample t-test?
Sir, as both male and female are different groups, so we use independent sample T test.
Okay,
Sir, because variable cooking skill is dependent to male and female. The main variable is cooking skill because of that.
Right. Now listen here, observe very carefully here. Cooking skill is one variable. Okay? It's only one variable. There is no independent or dependent here. Please understand what we say. It is an independent variable. There is no dependent here. It is an isolated variable. Okay? Cooking skill is an independent variable. Now, male or female is not dependent on cooking skill. We are checking whether the cooking skill of male is different from female. That's what we are checking here. Whether they differ significantly or not. Okay? So, the sample what we have collected is from two different groups. One is male, the other one is female. Or even if you have collected both together, we separate them into two different groups. Okay? So, we use the term here, the sample is independent sample. Please make a note. The sample is independent sample. So what we are going to do here, we are going to use independent sample t-test.
अच्छा मतलब रात की
समझ में आया?
हो जाएगी हाँ
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any doubt?
काहे में जा रहा है गाड़ी मतलब वो ऑटो होगा
Okay. So here we are going to use something called as independent sample t-test. Right? When there are two different groups, we are checking there with any other variables, any common variable, then we can go for this something called as independent sample t-test. Right. Now, let's see, observe here. We'll go to the next one. We have a different types of t-test called as paired sample t-test. Now, let's take an example here. We will go for an example here. Cooking skill. Here, let's keep this as a variable here. Cooking skill of a group of people. Now let's take an example. We have this called as, in short form, what do you call this group as? Because what is this called? Group, our group, Indian
Indian Research Scholars Association.
Yes.
Indian Research Scholars Association, IRSA, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's take an example. What we do is here we are checking the cooking skills of our students, IRSA students. Okay. So what we conduct initially, I conduct an examination for all students of IRSA. Okay, and I call that as pre-test. Okay, then I collected data. I conducted test initially. Now let's take an example. Now I conduct a test for everyone, and after that, what I do, I will get a score out of it. Cooking skill का एक skill test करता हूँ. Skill test अभी करता हूँ. करने के बाद any type of test. May for example I can give randomly an assignments for all of you, and I'll ask you to cook based on your cooking. मैं rating लेता हूँ. Then उसका score convert कर देता हूँ. वो सब tool के हिसाब से होता है. After this pre-test, what I do, 3 months या 6 months के लिए 6 months का विकास क्या करता है, एक ट्रेनिंग ऑर्गेनाइज करता है ना विकास. ट्रेनिंग ऑर्गेनाइज करने के बाद व्हाट आई डू, आई कंडक्ट अ पोस्ट टेस्ट, राइट. नाउ instead of research cooking skill, we can consider as research skill, if at all, if you want, anything of your choice, right. Now what I'll do, after this I conduct a post test. There is a pre-test here and post test. ये करने के बाद I have to see whether post test का performance और pre-test का performance में is there any significant difference. Then what I'll do, I'll write an hypothesis like that, saying that there is a significant difference in cooking skills of pre-test and post-test. Or I can write a null hypothesis like this. समझ में आ रहा है मैं क्या बोल रहा हूं?
Yes, sir.
Or I'll write there is no significant difference in cooking skills of pre-test and post-test. IRSA students. IRSA students. Right? अभी क्या हुआ? What is the sample here? Who are the group? Which group is there? Do we have any two groups here?
No, sir.
Only one group.
Only one group.
We have only one group. But कितना sample है हमारे पास? How many samples are there? Pre-test is one data. Okay, and post-test is the other data. We have two data sets here. है ना?
Yes, sir.
You're getting an idea? So when this kinds of data sets we have, which is of a single sample, that is the sample is only one, then what type of t-test you are going to use?
Paired sample.
Pakka.
Yes, sir.
There is only one sample here.
One sample t-test.
The paired sample t-test.
We are going to use
One sample.
No, it is not one sample. There are two times we are taking a sample, that is before and after. There are two times we are going to sample. So what we are going to do, we are going to go for paired sample, paired sample t-test. Getting an idea? मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what's happening here is we have paired. That means the sample what we have, the first one and the last one. Have you seen these kinds of things? एक्सपेरिमेंटल स्टडीज में ये होता है, साइंसेस में ये होता है. इफ एट ऑल इफ यू ऑब्जर्व वेट लॉस ट्रेनिंग, आप खुद वेट लॉस कर रहे होंगे, है ना? तो क्या करते हैं बिफोर गोइंग फॉर एन एक्सरसाइज और अ ट्रीटमेंट, कीटो डाइट, ये डाइट वो डाइट, हम लोग करने से पहले क्या करते हैं, हम लोग पहले अपना वेट लेते हैं. ये करने के बाद 3 महीने 1 महीने के बाद हम लोग क्या करते हैं, अगेन वेट लेते हैं. यस और नो?
Yes, sir.
Then what we do, we do this comparison between the pre-test and post-test. अगर इस तरीके से कर रहा है तो इसको क्या बोलते हैं हम लोग, इस तरीके से डिफरेंस चेक करना है. देन वी गो फॉर समथिंग कॉल्ड एज पेयर्ड सैंपल टी टेस्ट. समझ में आ रहा है?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. We have so many people, but many people are not speaking. Now let's take an example. We'll go for the next one. One more. I'm just teaching you the theory so that I can go further with statistics. जब तक आपको theory समझ में नहीं आता है, statistics करने से मतलब नहीं है. Okay? That's why I'm even teaching about hypothesis framing and other things. Now let's take an example. Cooking skill or research skill of IRSA students. इसको check करते हैं. Okay? Now, when you're checking this skills, now let's take an example. What do we do? We have a standard value. We will have a standard value, maybe X. Okay? और हम लोग क्या करते हैं, कुकिंग स्किल और रिसर्च स्किल्स ऑफ IRSA स्टूडेंट्स, ये चेक करने के लिए क्या करते हैं, वी हैव ए क्वेश्चनर एंड वी कलेक्ट द डेटा. ये कलेक्ट करने के बाद हम क्या करते हैं, व्हाट वी डू, वी चेक दिस स्कोर व्हाट वी ऑब्टेन फ्रॉम IRSA स्टूडेंट्स, मे बी ए स्कोर. इसको किसके साथ कंपेयर करते हैं, we compare with the standard value. Okay, and see whether there is any significant in cooking skills of IRSA students with a standard value. तब क्या करते हैं, then we use a different types of t-test which is called as
Independent sample t-test.
we call it as one sample t-test. It is not independent sample t-test. It is called as
One sample t-test.
yeah, one sample t-test, because we have only one sample here. समझ में आ रहा है?
Yes, sir.
Right? So what we are going to do here, we are going to keep a single, we are getting a single sample score. Only one times we are taking a score of a particular sample, and then we keep this standard value and then we start comparing it with this. Now all medical reports, आपका जितना भी reports आता है, all that things comes under this one sample t-test. समझ में आ रहा है?
Yes, sir.
Now what we do, blood लेते हैं, there is already a standard setup value which is there, and then we compare with that whether there is any significant difference. That when we compare or when we start comparing with this, we use something called as one sample t-test. So these are all the different types of sample t-test what we have to find out whether there is any significance between two different groups. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Hope it's clear.
Yes, sir.
Now, can I ask few questions if all of you are ready?
But sir, they
Yes,
buzz,
Sumit.
huh?
Yes, Sumit.
multiple variables, and yes sir, there can be multiple variables and multiple population sample also, multiple groups also. So how can we apply the t-test then?
Right. Now let's take an example. Here, when we can go for t-test. T-test में क्या होता है? As I said, there is a single variable, major variable, that is called testing variable. Okay. Cooking skill एक variable हो गया. उसी तरह कुछ भी हो सकता है. एक variable होता है. Then we have two different groups. Then only when there are two groups we go for t-test. When there are more than two groups, okay, to see a difference, what do we go for? We go for something called as ANOVA. Right, Sumit? Now let's
Yes, sir.
take an example. We'll take this cooking school again. Cooking skill हो गया. इसमें क्या होता है? Now let's take an example. Cooking skill. If at all, if we have one more group, transgender. जैसे तीन ग्रुप हो जाता है, then what we'll do? We cannot go for a t-test. We have to go for ANOVA. I'll come back to ANOVA bit later. Now let's understand t-test. इतना समझ में आया?
Sir, one more question.
T-test कब करते हैं? Yes,
Sir,
please.
one more question. Sir, in
Yes,
here, cooking skill, we cannot say it is dependent variable because male, female, we can consider them as independent variable because cooking skill is dependent to whether it is male or female. Is it not right, sir?
I had told you before itself, Mohammed, that we don't have a dependent or independent variable here. This is a single variable which is independent. Which is independent. That means it is not dependent on anything. We are not telling anything. It is an isolated variable. And there are researches where there is no need of dependent variable at all. We can conduct with only one variable. Okay?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Now, in this study, cooking skills of, my study title may vary like this: cooking skills of IRSA. Right? Students or scholars. This is my title. Done. I'm going to conduct a variable. I am going to conduct a study like this. Clear? Right. Now we will go for a different variables. Mohammed, what is your area? Which area you are working on?
Sir, I'm working on human resource management.
What is your title of your study?
Effect of personality traits on employees' preferred incentives.
Effect of
personality traits.
Personality threats, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now let's take an example. I will just tell you one hypothesis, and someone will tell me about what statistics I can use. Okay. There is no significant difference in personality threats of, okay, urban and rural people. Which
Simple
statistics I'm
t-test,
going to
sir.
use? Which t-test?
Independent sample.
Independent t-test.
Paka?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, we are going to go for
Yes, sir.
independent sample t-test. Okay. Now, let's take an example. We'll go for one more variable which is related to weight loss. Okay. There is no significant difference, okay, in the weight loss of IRSA students in their pre and post
Sir, paired
paired.
sample t-test.
in the pre
Paired
and post
sample
test
t-test. Paired sample t-test.
paired sample t-test. Okay. Now let's take an example. there is no significant difference in the weight of IRSA scholars, okay, with respect to the standard value as per Indian norms.
सर लास्ट वाला क्या नाम
One
था?
one sample t test.
One
One
sample
sample
t-test.
t test.
इतना तो
One
सबको
sample
समझ
t-test.
में आ गया. When there is a single variable and we compare that with two different groups, we have something which you're going to calculate as t-test. अभी हम लोगों ने we have learned about all these things. Now, practically, I'll teach you how we can go ahead with this analysis using SPSS. Shall we start?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, समझो मुझे इधर क्या क्या वेरिएबल होना चाहिए. एक हो गया. Let's take our first objective is we have one gender as a variable. Okay, there are two different groups here and we need a total score. कौन सा score होना चाहिए? Now let's take an example here. ये जो V31 है ना, इसको I'll edit it as what was the variable what we had? Cooking skills. Okay, cooking skills of IRSA students with respect to two different groups. Now I'll go for analyze. ये अभी मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ? I'm testing the our first hypothesis which is there, which states like this: male cook better than female. Like there is no significant difference. मुझे कौन सा टेस्ट करना है? Independent sample t-test. So when I have to conduct this independent sample t-test, what I'll do? I have to go for analyze. In this, I have to compare means. Go to compare means. There is an option for compare means, and then select independent sample t-test. Easy. I'll repeat again for you. Analyze. Go to compare mean, independent sample t-test. Okay. Now we have a testing variable here and a grouping variable. हमेशा क्या होता है? When you select any type of analysis, there will be list of variables which we have here. Okay, these are all the list of variables. इस variable को क्या करना है? हम लोगों को select करके इधर transfer करना है where which goes as testing variable. Now what will be our testing variable here?
Cooking skills. Cooking skills.
Very good. Cooking skills.
Cooking
मैं क्या
skill.
करता हूँ? I am going to select this cooking skill and transfer to testing variable. Just select. It gets converted into yellow. It gets highlighted. Okay. Then you transfer here. Click on this arrow mark. It gets transferred here. Got it? Now, the next thing what you're going to do is you're going to go for gender. Right? Gender लेंगे, then you're going to go for grouping variables. You select this into grouping variables. Okay. Next, we have to define this grouping variable. Click on define and click 1 and 2. First group and second group. Continue. Okay. इसमें options आएगा. We have something called as confident interval percentage. Usually what happens in social science research, we go for 95%. In science researchers, we go for 99% or 99.99%. In pharmacy and other medical or science researchers, we can even go for 99.99% of confidence interval. I'll not go in detail into that because it's an SPSS workshop. So click OK and then click OK. Right now there is an error here because the data what I feed it, there is some problem. I'll just one second. I'll just go for certain things. I'll just open a different file. . There is some problem, that's why I'm using a different file here. I will go for cooking skill. Same data is there, but I've used as a different things. Then we'll go for cooking skills. V31 I'll get converted into cooking skills. Right, I'll go for analyze, descriptive, compare mean, independent sample t-test select करना है मुझे. Then I'll go for cooking skills. Cooking skill has to be, it's not supposed to be a nominal variable, it is a scale. Yeah, converted it to scale. I'll go again for analyze, compare mean. I'll go for independent sample t-test. मेरे को cooking skill लेना है. I select cooking skill. I'll go for gender. Then define gender as 1 and 2. Continue. I have selected an option as 95% of confidence interval. Click OK and then click OK. Right? हमको क्या मिला? We get a table here which says t-test values will be here. We have not, what we do, we go for female and female. Then we have 308 female and 43 male. And mean of male is 81.26 and male of female is 84.19. If you observe these two scores, you can see the mean score is the mean difference is very less. This itself indicates that there is no significant, there may not be any significant difference. So if you see the significant value, it is not less than 0.05 level. It is 0.627. Okay, so it indicates that it is not significant. Okay, Levin's test of equivalent variance assumes that it is not significant. So there is no significant difference. So based on this table, what we are going to do, we are going to go for the interpretation here. Right, and we accept the null hypothesis here, we reject the alternative hypothesis. Okay, so what we do is we accept the null hypothesis. What does the null hypothesis says? There is no significant difference in
cooking skills of male and
female. So then based on this, you interpret the results. Okay, so this is a t-test what you're going to conduct when there is a single group, single variable, a single testing variable with two different groups. Okay, any doubt?
Sir, how much should be the significant value?
Significant value, listen here. What is the confidence percentage what you have taken? 95%. Okay. If you see that the significant value will be 0.05 level. It should always be less than 0.05 level. Then what happens? It is significant. It will be significant at 0.05 level. That is 95% confidence interval. Clear? So this significance.
Sir, it should be higher than that or lower than that?
It should be lower than this. It should be lower than this 0.05 level.
Okay, sir.
Okay, always 0.05 level. Okay. If we are taking it for 95% confidence interval. Clear? Always the value should be low. Now, this is about independent sample t-test. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Easy,
but
right?
There is a huge difference in. Yes, sir. There is a huge difference in this sample size, sir, female and male. So, sir, क्या ये भी impact रखता है?
नहीं देखिए सर, अभी क्या करता है टी टेस्ट का, when we calculate, okay, टी टेस्ट we will not use the numbers. Mainly we go for the mean values. Mean value. T-test का formula देखा है आपने? When you see the formula, the numbers doesn't make any significant difference. Got it? So it is always calculated with the help of mean. That's why there is no problem. Sample size. इसीलिए statistics use करते हैं हम लोग. Okay? It plays with mean. If you select. And I'll share a PPT where I have given all the formulas. Because many of you, what you do is, you directly go ahead with SPSS. हमको क्या करना है? We have to go ahead with this one. What we do? We have to go ahead with the formulas, which normally many of us will not do. Now let's take an example. I'll just show you. Let me just show you the formulas. What you have. Now, I have a PPT which has been combined saying that how to calculate this parametric test, Z test का formula क्या है, उसका analysis कैसा होता है, okay? All these things I'm going to show you how to calculate it. All these things I have a formula here. आपको क्या करना है? अगर आप t-test use कर रहे हैं, there is a formula for that, and I have given it very clearly with the help of these things, with the help of sample calculation कैसे करता है with sample. Okay, I'll show you one more. Now these are all the assignments which I give for my students and make sure. Now let's take an example. Mean कैसे calculate करते हैं? Group data का अलग होता है formula, ungroup data का अलग formulas होता है. Okay, median कैसे calculate करते हैं? All these formulas I have just given. These are all the statistics which we use it. इस तरीके से मैं एक PPTs आपको भेजता हूँ. Okay, when I send you those PPTs, then probably what you can do is, before going to this SPSS, I request all of you to understand those theory behind it. Then you'll get this clarification saying that ये कैसे calculate होता है, ये कैसे calculate होता है. Okay, ANCOVA related PPT also I'll share you. I'll share you both descriptive as well as inferential statistics. पूरा जितना भी है रिग्रेशन तक मैं एक काम करता हूँ. रिग्रेशन तक मैन्युअली कैसे कैलकुलेट करना है आपको भेजता हूँ. Then what you can do is it will be easy for you to understand. And I request all of you, before touching SPSS, you have to learn the basic statistics of this one. Yes, Raj Kamal, you have a question. Raj? Right. I think by mistake you would have raised a hand.
Oh, sir.
Right. Yes, Nisha madam.
I have question, sir. Sir, अगर cooking skill, अगर हमारे main variables होंगे, एक से ज़्यादा होंगे. For example, we have to see the difference between males and female in cooking skill, social skills, and say for example communicating skills. Sir, still we use t-test.
Now, if you are taking it separately, cooking skill alag, social skill alag, okay, then you use this t-test. You getting an idea?
Sorry, sir.
If at all if you are using separately, that for example cooking skill alag use करते हैं, social skill alag use करते हैं, social skill of two different groups you're going to check, then you are using t-test. Getting an idea?
Yes, sir.
Right. So this is about the first t-test which we discussed. What is that? Independent sample t-test. Now, we want something called as paired sample t-test. What is the meaning of paired sample? Paired sample में क्या होता है?
Pre-test and post-test.
Pre-test and post-test. Now, I'll just open a data related to that. राइट मुझे एक डेटा क्रिएट करना है 2 मिनट में मैं डेटा क्रिएट करता हूँ बिकॉज कुकिंग स्किल्स का एक डेटा है सो व्हाट I'll टेक अप दिस डेटा मैं इसी डेटा को मल्टीप्लाई कर रहा हूँ सो दैट I'll गेट एन आइडिया I'm just creating a variable because I have not taken two things. तो एक काम करता हूँ I'll select a data. ये कुकिंग स्किल्स जो है ना it's a spontaneous variable which was not there in my mind. That's why I'm just creating a data for you. कुछ और डाउट है किसी को भी?
सर इंडिपेंडेंट टेस्ट का एनालिसिस समझ में नहीं आया सर.
राइट एक मिनट आपको एक टी टेस्ट का इंटरप्रेट करने के लिए क्या क्या चाहिए? आपने कभी टी टेस्ट यूज किया है?
जी सर.
हाँ टी टेस्ट में क्या क्या चाहिए आपको एनालिसिस के लिए? एक है मीन वैल्यू राइट I'll just open that and then show you output का टेबल के पास जाएंगे हम लोग राइट इसमें क्या करते हैं यू टेक एज इट इज दिस टेबल फर्स्ट थिंग ये टेबल लेते हैं हम लोग I'll put it in my PPT let me take up a notes example आपको दिखा देता हूँ then it will be easy for you to understand. मैं एक official thesis open करता हूँ then it will be easy for you to understand. One second please इसमें एनालिसिस नहीं दिखाया है Now there are different ways of interpreting the t-test. एक इंटरप्रिटेशन में एक एग्जांपल थीसिस ओपन करके मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ कैसे करना है. Right. इसमें देखिए what happens. एक वेरिएबल है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कल्चर, and here there are two different groups. One is married and unmarried group. इसमें क्या लेते हैं ये लोग? They take up the n क्या होता है? The number of samples. Okay, then we take up the mean of different samples, then standard deviation, then they take up the degree of freedom, then the t value and p value. ये अगर देखेंगे here, okay, here what happens, n हम लोग देखे ग्रुप में, we'll take up this mean value, standard deviations value we'll take up, then we'll take up a t value. There are two t values here. One is equal variance assumed, equal variance not assumed. हम किसको लेंगे इधर? Can someone tell me? What do you mean by equal variance assumed? Hello? Can someone tell me what do you mean by equal variance assumed?
So this is hypothesis we have created.
Yes. No, this is not the hypothesis which we speak about. Okay? In statistical test, what we do that although different samples can come from population with the different means, they have same variance. That means when the variance are approximately same across the sample, then we go for this. Means the differences are same across the sample, then we go for this equal variance assumed. Now in this case, we go for equal variance not assumed. The t value will be 1.655, the take up, and p value का मतलब है a significant value 0.627. इसको क्या करते हैं? That using all the data, what you do is you put up this table like this. Instead of organization culture, हम लोग क्या करते हैं? Cooking skill. इसमें married के बदले क्या करते हैं हम लोग? We write male and female. Then we see the number, mean, standard deviation, degree of freedom is already there. Okay, the DF value is here. Then you go for the DF value. Then you go for T value and P value. Based on this, we write the interpretation. You can see here the interpretation. I'll just show you an interpretation how they have written. This is an F test. I'll just come back to F test bit later. It's down somewhere. I'll just read out the interpretation, then it will be easy for you to understand. Right. Here they write, an independent sample t-test is conducted to compare the personal commitment dimensions across gender. That means they've used different dimensions here. When the mean of personal commitment were compared across gender, it was found that all three dimensions, जो dimensions है, okay? And for female, ये क्या हुआ? Mean and standard deviation इतना है. For me, male it is इतना है. T value इतना है. P value is significant, okay? And it says that P value is so much, where significantly different for female and female. और फिर ये लिखते हैं, the null hypothesis is rejected and the alternative hypothesis is accepted. And finally, they say that there is a significant difference in in personal commitment dimensions across gender. इस तरीके से ये लोग क्या करते हैं? एक interpretation लिखते हैं. And in the similar way, here what we can do with these data, similar kind of interpretation can be written, and we can say that cooking skills of male and female doesn't significantly differ. Okay, hence the null hypothesis is accepted and the alternative hypothesis is rejected. समझ में आया कैसे इंटरप्रेट करते हैं टी टेस्ट को? Any doubt?
यस सर।
Hello.
जी सर, समझ में आया सर।
Yes. Yes. आपको क्या करना है? When you are writing an interpretation, interpretation files, what you can do is you'll get you go to any kind of any thesis. आप लोगों को क्या करना है? Most of the times we don't refer. I request all of you to go to Shodh Ganga. Okay, Shodh Ganga. Type any research of your choice. अब जैसे शोध गंगा पे जाएंगे आपको क्या मिलता है? I'm just going to शोध गंगा so that it will be easy for you. शोध गंगा में जाके आपका type of thesis, whatever the thesis you have, search for a similar type of thesis. Now, can someone tell me your title? What is your title of your study? Anyone, please.
कृषकों के आर्थिक विकास में
स्टोरी टेलिंग एंड टूरिज्म।
Which tourism? Hello? Anyone, please?
Sir, storytelling and tourism.
Storytelling and tourism. There are two variables. There are two variables here. है ना? Storytelling. Now let's take an example. We want a thesis which is related to storytelling. Go for this. Now, as soon as you go to any Shodh Ganga and then search for a similar variable, क्या होता है? आपको बहुत सारा thesis मिलता है. उस thesis में जाके आप क्या करना है? You read about 3rd chapter and 4th chapter. Okay, we will get it. Bit slow. Net is bit slow. Right. Now let's take an example. Storytelling and tourism. आपका जो thesis है, more or less it is more or less similar. It says effectiveness of storytelling on achievement of science. Now इसमें क्या होता है? Effectiveness, storytelling and tourism. Instead of achievement test, it can be considered as tourism. Then open this. Open it for chapter. Someone wanted an ANOVA interpretation. ये सब मैं हमारा जितना भी थीसिस हम लोग प्रोड्यूस करते हैं, वी अपलोड इट इन शोध गंगा. इट्स एवरीवेयर इन इंडिया में. पूरा जितना भी थीसिस चाहिए आपको मिल जाएगा. ओके, आई एम जस्ट गिविंग यू सम. वन सेकेंड. डेटा एनालिसिस पे जाइए. देन यू ऑब्जर्व हियर. This is what chi-square value test they have done. Okay, and these are all non-parametric analysis what they have done. इसी तरह ये नहीं मिला, then you go for a different thesis again. Go back to different thesis, read how they have done. इसी thesis में क्या होता है? Now let's take an example. अगला मैं correlation analysis का ये करता हूँ. When I go for interpretations, see here, you read this thesis. They teach you about correlation analysis. कैसे लिखा है? Okay, so this is a very simple process where you can read something and then get some interpretations. इतना तो कर सकते हैं सब लोग. Any doubt? Go to Shodh Ganga, read 10 or 15 similar kind of thesis. What exactly you have? उसमें t-test का interpretation कैसे किया है? You read, then you will understand it. Analysis करने के बाद how they have interpreted. So that's a simple way what you can analyze, what you can learn. This is just a review. I am telling you to review the thesis. It will be easy for you. Right. Now we'll go for the next one. I'll continue next because SPSS बहुत सारा है यार. it will be very difficult for us to complete it. That's why I'll go further and do the next analysis. Right. मेरा next analysis क्या था? I have to go for the next type of t-test. What is the next type of t-test? What we have? First, what we did an independent sample t-test. Next, what we are going to do? Pre-test, post-test के लिए sample t-test करना है. So I'll teach you how to do sample t-test now. Okay. Now I have consider that I have a variable which is pre-test score. And then we have something called as post-test. Right. Now, when I have two different things, scores, what I'll do, I'll take up analyze, I'll go to analyze, compare mean. मुझे कहाँ जाना है? Where I have to go? I have to go for paired sample t-test. Okay. Then I have to compare between two different variables. What is that? Pre-test cooking skills. एक select किया मैंने. Then I selected post-test cooking skill. Got it? There are two variables what I've selected. Variables से testing variables में paired variables मैंने लिया है. And then I go for 90% confidence interval and click OK. Then I again click OK. Right? If you see here, मुझे score मिल गया. Then I found that pre-test cooking skill and post-test cooking skill, उसका mean value आया, standard deviation आया. Okay. Then I see whether there is the t value मिल गया मुझे, df इतना है. The score is 0.420. If it is 0.420, whether it is significant or not. For to be significant, what is the score what I have to have? It should be less than 0.05 for 95 confidence level. So is it less than that? No. So then how to interpret now? मैं क्या interpret करूँ इधर? After 6 months training, is there a significant difference in cooking skill?
No.
Do we have a difference?
No.
So which hypothesis I have to accept here?
Null hypothesis.
Which hypothesis I have to null hypothesis I accept. In case agar score, in case if it is significant, okay, then how I'll write the interpretation?
Then we would have selected the alternate.
Pre-test and post-test.
There is a significant difference in the cooking skill of pre-test and post-test of IRSS students. और मुझे क्या पता चलता है कौन सा ग्रुप बेस्ट है, कैसे पता चलता है? उसमें क्या करते हैं? Then we go for this mean value. Which mean value is better? That group performs. है ना? इसमें कौन सा mean value better है? Post-test या pre-test? Can you see here?
Post-test.
Post-test. So obviously मुझे क्या लिखना है? The post-test score is better when compared to the pre-test score. It indicates that my experimentation, that is क्या 6 months का जो training मैंने दिया है, that is effective. Okay, that's how we read the interpretation. Any doubt?
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, please.
कभी-कभी yes, sir, t-test की values कभी negative में आती हैं, कभी positive में आती हैं. So what does it mean?
वो ऊपर नीचे स्कोर करेंगे तो ऑटोमेटिकली आ जाएगा मैडम. देखिए, तो you ignore that. ठीक है? हाँ, that's the thing. Right. So इतना समझ में आया? Any doubt?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. One second, please. Right. So this is how we go for this paired sample t-test. Any doubt?
No, sir.
If you don't have a doubt, we will go for the next one, the last one, that is, what is that? Independent simple t-test हो गया, paired sample t-test हो गया, last one कौन सा है?
One sample
Very good.
t-test.
One sample t-test. उसको कैसे करना है? Now, I go for analyze, again compare mean, then I go for one sample t-test, then I select a variable here. Which variable? Well, let's take, I'm going to select the post test, and I'm going to have a test variable score. इधर आता है एक test variable score. This is a standard score. Now let's take an example. 50 is an average score. ठीक है? And I compare with 50 and see whether the testing variables में कुछ difference आ रहा है कि नहीं. Similarly, I have this confidence interval as 95%. I'll click OK and I'll see the result. Can you see this value here? This p value, the significant value is 0.00. Okay. When compared to this, okay, if you see here, it is 0.00. It indicates that it is significant, okay, and it is highly significant. There is a significant difference, okay, and with the post-test cooking skills with the standard value. समझ में आया? It is less than. Is there? What is the score here? 0.00. What is the score which should be less than? If it is 95 confidence level, okay, it should be less than
0.05.
0.05. Is it less than 0.05?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If it is 99% confidence level, what should be the value? It should be less than
0.01.
0.01. Is it less than 0.01?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
it is obviously significant at 99% confidence interval. है ना?
Yes, sir.
So we
Yes, sir.
accept this. So the null hypothesis here, what does it states? There is no significant difference बोलता है इधर. There is no significant difference in cooking skills of IRSS students with standard value. Then whether this is accepted or rejected?
Rejected.
Rejected.
Rejected. And we write something, once the null hypothesis gets rejected, then we write something called as alternative hypothesis stating that there is a significant difference. इसमें अगर compare करेंगे, okay? इसमें अगर हम लोग compare करेंगे, what's happening? What is the standard value what I gave before testing? मैंने इधर एक वैल्यू डाला था, एनालाइज, कंपेयर मीन, वन सैंपल टी टेस्ट, टेस्टिंग वैल्यू में मैंने क्या डाला? 50 डाला था, याद है? सो व्हाट आई एम कंपेयरिंग दिस 50 with the mean of the post test. Post test का mean कितना है? 82.24. तो मैंने क्या डाला? When you compare 82.24 with 50, there is a significant difference. Now, इसको not significant difference करूँ मैं? I can do this. I can do only thing is compare mean, one sample t-test, and instead of 50, I'll put as 80 and see whether there is any significant difference. Okay, 80 भी आएगा. Now, if at all, if you go for something like that, you add exactly the similar value. What I added 82. मेरा mean value था. If I compare that with the mean value 82, ये बोलता है significant नहीं है. समझ में आया?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's how we do this t-test analysis. Easy? Any doubt? We have learned about independent sample t-test, paired sample t-test, and one sample t-test. Okay? Statistics is very easy.
Yes, sir.
अगर आप लोग सीख रहे तो. Yes, please. Right. So this is about t-test. Now, one more thing I actually forgot initially to tell you. We have something called as parametric and non-parametric analysis. Okay. मुझे कब parametric पे जाना है? I thought I would have discussed this in the last class. Have I discussed?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Parametric
sir.
and non-parametric analysis? Okay. Then it's fine. I had spoken you about NPC, right? Normal probability curve. Okay. When you get this
Yes, sir.
NPC, normal probability, we go for parametric analysis. Under this parametric analysis, I started discussing about t-test. Next thing is we have something called as ANOVA. सुना है आप लोगों ने ANOVA के बारे में?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And someone is very keenly waiting. I don't know. I think someone is very keenly waiting to learn about ANOVA. Once again, I'll just open. Right. Now, when we have two different groups, difference based on two groups, अगर if check करना है, then what we do, we use t-test. Now, difference based on more than two groups, then we go for something called as ANOVA. Okay? When we go for ANOVA, we have more than two groups and we want to see differences, then we go for something called as ANOVA. First thing is one-way ANOVA. Okay, I'll teach you about one-way ANOVA today and I'll stop because too much teaching will confuse. Now let's take an example. क्या हुआ? हम लोग क्या करते हैं? If you see in my data, we have groups. Now let's take an example. अभी हम लोगों ने क्या किया? Two groups का देखा. Male and female, urban and rural. Okay.
मैं विकास बोल रहा हूँ.
Other groups like that, for example, two cities का होगा, Bangalore and Madhya Pradesh. Two different groups data लिया मैंने, and then I wanted to see the difference. अगर more than तीन group हो गया. Now let's take an example. I see whether the performance of 10th standard students or performance of students in anything, okay, in a subject is better in Bangalore, in Madhya Pradesh, or in Kolkata. If I compare three different states, then I have to use something called as ANOVA. So let's do this. Grouping here. Now let's take an example. Age groups होगा. I've done a grouping of 25 to 40 and above. Okay. Likewise, less than 25. ये तीन चार. So if I want to find out whether there is any significant difference in cooking skill with respect to age group, मुझे एक analysis करना पड़ता है. What I'll do for that analysis, I have to go for analyze. I go for compare mean, and there is something called as one-way ANOVA in compare means. One-way ANOVA. Okay, one-way ANOVA. So I have to go for one way ANOVA. Then I select a testing variable. कौन सा testing variable होगा? Let's take an example. Post test cooking skills. Then my factor is क्या था? Age group. I select the factor as age group, like how I do in t-test. Age group select किया मैंने. Then I clicked OK. Hope समझ में आया सबको? I selected analysis, compare mean, one way ANOVA, dependent list जो है ना, that's a variable which I wanted to select. I selected age group. Instead of age group, let's take select age group. ये जो है ना, all that things let it be there by default. After that I'll teach you about this. Click OK. And हमें एक ANOVA table मिलता है. And here also we'll have something called as p value, which is not less than 0.05 level. So agar less than 0.05 level aa gaya, then we have to see further analysis. Agar nahi aaya, so what does our hypothesis say? Hypothesis says that there is no significant difference. There is no significant difference, okay, in the cooking skills
within the age groups
with respect to different states, with the different groups and the different states. Okay, so if hypothesis null hypothesis accepted, हम लोग क्या करेंगे? Further analysis नहीं करेंगे in ANOVA. Now let's take, I have one more variable. I'll select that, compare mean, one way ANOVA. Instead of age, I'll go to a different variable. Let's consider teaching experience. Teaching experience. I'll select this and see whether there is any significant difference. Click OK. Okay. 1 second, please. Master. Class there, master. 10 minutes. என்னாச்சு? அவரோட வீட்டுக்கு போகணுமா? ஒரு 10 மினிட் போதும். சரி, நீ பேக் பண்ணி கீழே வந்துடு. Right. Now what happens? Here also there is no significant difference. Let's see, I'll take some other variable where there is any significant difference. I'll remove this post test and go for pre-test and see whether there is any significant difference. Yes. Now you can see here, what is the significant value here?
0.001.
0.01. So it is having a significant difference. अभी मुझे अगर significant difference ANOVA में मिल गया, मुझे ये पता करना है, टी टेस्ट में क्या करता था, मैं मीन स्कोर, बिटवीन मीन स्कोर्स आई यूज्ड टू कंपेयर एंड सी कौन सा मीन स्कोर ज्यादा है, उसका ग्रुप ज्यादा परफॉर्म करता है. I was just based on the mean scores when comparing, I used to get an idea. But in ANOVA, that is not possible. ANOVA के लिए there is one more option called as post hoc test. For that, what I'll do, I have to go for analyze, again compare mean, go for one way ANOVA. There is something called as post hoc here in the right side. Can you see? Post hoc. POSTHOC. Click there, and there are different types of post hocs which are available, okay, where they'll compare the equal variance assumed. For that, what they'll do, I can select one or two. I can go for LSD post hoc, either 2-key post hoc, or anything of your choice. You read about this post hoc, then you'll get an idea. Skiffy, I can go for Duncan or anything like that. Select whichever the post hoc you have to do. Select the significant level as 0.05 and then continue OK and then click OK. आप लोग जो भी मैं समझा रहा हूं, आप घर में जाके प्रैक्टिस करना है, then it will be easy. You have to practice with a score. अगर हम लोग देखेंगे इधर, if you see this table, what happens? Let's see here. In 2-keys post hoc I'm taking, there is significant value which is given here. It says 0.280, 0.01, 0.280, 0.032 or something like that. इसमें क्या होता है? You can see here they are comparing this with 15 and above years of experience. And if you see here, this is compared with 5 to 15 years of experience, which says there is no significant difference. That means it says that अगर मैं 15 and above and 5 to 15 years दोनों ग्रुप को कंपेयर कर रहा हूं, तो इन दोनों ग्रुप में कुकिंग स्किल्स का कोई डिफरेंसेस नहीं है. Whereas लेस देन 5 years and above 15 years, इन दोनों को कंपेयर जब मैं करता हूं, देयर इज अ सिग्निफिकेंट डिफरेंस. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि 5 years, लेस देन 5 years एक्सपीरियंस एंड 15 years ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस, इन दोनों ग्रुप को मैं कंपेयर कर रहा हूं, तो देयर इज अ सिग्निफिकेंट डिफरेंस. कौन बेटर है कुकिंग स्किल्स में, इसको देखने के लिए क्या करना है? We have something called as mean scores, which comes here. One second. We have not selected that mean score option. मैं select कर लेता हूँ. Options. Descriptive is very important. अगर मुझे descriptive statistics मिल गया, then it will be easy. इसमें हम क्या करते हैं? हम लोग mean देखिए इधर. Mean of 15 and above is 83.47. Less than 5 years का क्या है? 77.38. तो इन दोनों को कंपेयर करेंगे तो कौन परफॉर्म बेटर कर रहा है? Whose skill is better? Whose mean is better?
जिसका सर मीन अच्छा है, यानी 15 एंड अबव.
15 and above. So what does it indicate? When compared to less than 5 years, who is cooking better? Whose skill is better? Cooking skill is better.
15 एंड अबव का जिनका एक्सपीरियंस.
Very good. 15 and above, 15 years experience, and then less than 15 years experience. When you compare both, 15 and above is performing better when compared to less than 5 years. That's what the result indicates here. समझ में आ रहा है? And in the similar way, if you see here,
Yes, sir.
15 to 5 to 15 years and less than 5 years, there also there is a significant difference. But significant difference is not much when compared to this 15 and above. तो इसका मतलब है, as the experience is getting older and older, their performance is also better in cooking skill. समझ में आ रहा है? So this is what this post-hoc test gives the result. So this is how you do the interpretation analysis. Analysis ऐसे करना है, इसी तरह आपको interpret करना पड़ता है. Any doubt related to post-hoc? Either you can select any one, two keys post-hocs, KIFI, LD, LSD. इसके बारे में आप पढ़ेंगे ना theory, then it will be easy for you to understand. मैं जितना भी statistics आपको समझाओ SPSS में 2 मिनट का काम है, but जब तक आप उसका interpretation नहीं समझते हैं, okay, until and unless you don't understand the interpretation, you will find it difficult to understand statistics. आपको क्या करना है? पहले theory पढ़ना है, then you see the formulas, then you come to SPSS, result आएगा. इस result को बाकी लोग कैसे interpret करते हैं वो देखना है. That you can learn with the help of शोध गंगा. Then you can do your interpretations. It becomes very easy. This is how I've learned statistics, and I request all of you to learn statistics. Easy, eh?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes.
So, statistics is a passion for some of you, if at all if you start learning it. For me, it's a passion. I learn research. Even today, I learn from my students. I request all of you to learn by reading, by speaking to someone. Then it will be easy for you. Okay? So I'll stop here because too many statistics. Again, I have one more session. Probably I'll try to add more aspects related to statistics. Higher statistics पे जाएंगे, फिर non-parametric statistics आएंगे. Then I think with this knowledge, you'll be able to complete your PhD. Okay? Vikas?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So
Okay,
if
sir.
you permit, I'll stop here. Okay, because too much of statistics, mind will get blocked.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, thank you so much, sir. Sir, you will be take the one more class of the practical session, sir. Samson, sir. Sir, you are mute, sir. Please unmute yourself.
Yes, Vikas. So
Ah,
I'll stop here, Vikas, if you
okay,
permit,
okay, sir. Sir, you will be
because if I teach,
the sir
if I,
practical session class, sir.
so this is what I'm doing. It's practical only. If at all, if they want, I can share them data, and if they're ready to work practically, then what I'll do, I can ask them to work. If
Oh,
all of you are ready to take the laptop, because I've shared you my SPSS package. How many of you need SPSS package?
Sir, we need.
Sir, I need, sir.
Right. Those who don't have SPSS package, because
yes, sir.
I had actually given you SPSS package last time. You remember?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You have given, sir. Yeah.
Yes. If you can share with them and ask them to install in their system,
Now that is not working, sir.
it'll work. Because why it will not work? I'll teach them how to install.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay. Today I will come
Oh.
this department.
If you want, I'll give you one more tomorrow. Tomorrow you come
Yes, sir.
to department. I'll give you the statistical package.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
And because it's getting recorded, can you stop the recording? I think probably we have completed the class.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have